Okay, because Maryjane took over the last one that I was doing, I had to start a new one.
No, yeah. Do the same story though, right?
I know, same story. Okay, here's the story. It's on the internet somewhere. It's about a company. It's like any company. There's the person that's doing the work, the person that's telling them to do the work, and the person who's going to own the work later when it's done. Okay. So there's this, the owner says, or the consumer, she says, I would like, the project is, I would like 5 straight red lines. Can you do that? Oh yes, we can do that. Then she's saying, and then he turns to the person who's actually doing the work, the programmer or whatever. You can do that, right? Oh yes, 5 straight red lines. Perfect. Then she says, and I would like 2 of them to be transparent. And the manager says, sounds good to me. How about, what do you think? And the programmer says, I don't, this transparent, you know. And she says, you know what transparent means, don't you? He says, yes. 2 red transparent lines. Well, if they're red, they won't be transparent. And the manager says, of course we can do it. Keep the customer happy, right? Of course we can do it. And then she says, and I would like to have all of these lines perpendicular. Can you manage that? And the manager says, oh yes, of course, that would be fine. And then the programmer says, but wait, perpendicular, and she says, you know what perpendicular means, right? He says, yes. And he says, well, can you do it? He says, well, no. If they're perpendicular, they can't all be perpendicular to each other. And so then he draws a diagram. He says, I can make 2 of them perpendicular, but the rest of them will not be perpendicular to all of them.
I thought they were supposed to be parallel lines.
Oh yes, 4 parallel lines, 5 parallel red lines, and then they're supposed to be perpendicular. You knew this already.
No, I didn't.
Did you know this too? How do you know about the parallel then? I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
I am smarter than I think. Okay. Blow myself away every time. Okay, and so then the manager says, what is keeping this from happening? We can do this. Of course we can do this. And the programmer says, oops. What is keeping this from happening? Geometry? No. We will do it. And she says to the consumer, we will do it. Okay? And that's the end of it. Now, that is what my workers go through every time I show up. But there's a beam in the way. No. Just go around it. It can't be done. Of course it can be done. And what about this? No walls on the side.
Have you thought about that box around your stovepipe?
No.
I think you should take it right to the wall.
Okay.
So that it kind of
divides the room?
Well, not divides it, but it just adds a bit of character. Because if you just have a pole in the middle of your room, you might as well just have the actual pipe.
But if it's a box in the middle of the room and I have 4 sides to it, I can hang all my mugs on it.
Yes.
Oh, but if it goes all the way to the wall, I could also do that. But you probably want to shove the bookcases up against it.
No, I wouldn't put a wall right across. I would just put the wall out as deep as the
I know.
pipe, right?
I know.
And then straight
I'm
back to the wall.
telepathic. Aren't you telepathic?
And then that way it just adds a little bit of character to the room.
Okay, I will go with your idea because you are smart. She's almost as smart as me. Did I say that aloud?
Almost. But then she thinks she knows everything. So
I know.
What does she know?
And she calls herself my best friend.
I am your best friend. Somebody has to tell you.
That's right. If your best friend can't tell you that you have a flaw, one.
She only has one though. Like, come on.
Being wrong.
Yeah.
What's so bad about that?
I know. She hates to be wrong.
I know. I told Willem once, everything I said in it. And he says, well, no, actually, blah, blah. Well, no, actually, blah, blah. And I said, Willem, I am so tired of always being wrong. What can I do to stop being wrong? And he said, well, you could shut up.
Better rule than me. No.
Well, you know,
that's like we were at the cottage in Grant, and Sarah was like, I love Sarah. She's great. She's a great mom, and she's very.
But here it comes.
You know, she's great. I love her. I love my daughter-in-laws.
Okay.
But you know, she likes to make sure that the kids are really safe, and you know that things are done properly for them, so that they are safe. Right. And so,
a typical millennial.
Yeah. So anyway, she was just kind of jabbering on, and you know, kind of jabbering on at our son Grant, and he turns to her and he goes, "How about this? You stop talking." I thought, okay, well, that's a nice way to tell her to shut up.
Willem has this thing that he says. I say, and I came up with an idea once. I've already told you this, but you probably didn't see that video either. So she said, or I said, I'd like to build an outhouse. And he sort of didn't say anything. Sort of, like nothing. And then after a while I said, what goes through your mind when I say something like that? He says, well, I figure I have 4 options. I can ignore it and hope it'll go away. Go along with it until major expenditures are required. Adamantly protest. Or
agree.
No, that was not one of them.
Oh. That's not even an option.
I know. Ignore it and hope it'll go away. Go along. Oops.
Lost you. Where are you? Are you hiding again?
Look at you. Now
There
don't be
you are.
jumping like that. You almost made me wreck my car.
You.
Okay. Now look at that. We are so glorious. Look at how we just brighten up your life.
Look at the light is like
the light radiating from us. We're being translated, Maryjane. What's going to happen to the car?
Oh.
Crash. We're gone. Okay.
I'm not quite ready. I have some repenting to do.
No. Not again.
I'm trying to repent on a regular basis.
Yes, indeed. We won't think about that right now because we're having too much fun to think about repenting. You know, I have this big piece of drywall on the back and it's flopping like that.
Oh, yes it is. That's what he said. He was worried about the sag.
It's not sagging, it's on all the 2x4s. He lined up all the 2x4s all the way across. There, back to earth. See, now we're not illuminated.
So anyways, what was the 4th one with Willem? We'll have to ask him.
Ignore it and hope it'll go away. Vehemently protest. Go along with it until major expenditures are required. Express general interest but remain non-committal. Yep. He did that just recently. I had this great idea how our daughter could come back and move into this part of our property and build a road and we do all this stuff. And he sort of said, oh, I don't know. And then I went along with it. Blah, blah, blah. And so a big ball rolling. And then he says, no. You know, complications. Children building on your land, blah, 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 blah. But I'd already told her, and we'd already planned all these things. So sometimes this is not a good idea. He should have come out and said, I should have just listened, I guess. Because he did say,
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, by the way, Michael tells me to hug my wished. So just saying.
He says what?
Hug your wished. It's a Scottish.
Uh-oh, somebody is calling. I hope they're not asking where we are. Someone will have to tell them.
We're almost home.
It's never going to go. Okay. Oops, sorry. Stop. Now she hung up.
What was it?
It was a lie. She's probably asking, oh, she's probably going to put Desmond to bed now. Are we missing his nap? I said, we'll be there before nap time.
Oh.
Or you can call her.
call her.
Okay, I gotta get off of here. Goodbye.